The most remarkable thing about Ronald Bladen was that he was a model for other artists. There was a kind of purity about him, a dedication to art that made other artists look up to him. Critics like myself looked to Ronnie because he exemplified what we thought was the purest, the best in the art world.
Whenever anyone becomes that kind of an artist where you are giving to the work as much as the work is telling you what it wants, at that moment the work really has this kind of multi-internal reflection of the spirit.
Another remarkable thing about Ronald Bladen was his independence. He seemed to have an inborn hatred of anything that was stale, anything that was used up, and he always gravitated to what seemed fresh, what seemed new, what seemed exciting.
Ronald Bladen's work had a kind of a dynamism that was different. It had energy to it, and it had a life-positive thing. I love that three elements piece. You know, it had a simplicity, and it had that same thing that you find in the Egyptian ruins of the pyramids and things like that. There is that kind of timelessness. I wish it was shown more often at MoMA.
There was something within him, and it is something that you could read immediately in his personality, but you can also read it in his work, that is not just minimalism. I think that there's a tremendous amount of spirituality there. There's a sense of great deal of intelligence, an intelligence that could be pruned and edited in a way that was very strict, but within that strictness, there was always a shift, an unexpected happening that was a surprise.
Black Lightning and Cathedral and those pieces really spoke out in a way.
The fact that even though what you see looks like an absolute, you need to look at it for a few more seconds before you know it's not an absolute. Like with the Black Lightning, the way he cuts it under, or with the Cathedral Evening, the way he suspends those two huge blocks on either side that hold up this inverted V pointing toward a higher up somehow. And that these anchorages feel psychologically and physically heavy. In connection with the X piece, that there's something that is outrageously bold. The X is almost, you know, like this thing that's pushing out, you know, on both sides and sort of expressing its kind of satisfaction with just where it is.
I always thought that his pieces had a spiritual aspect to them, and I think that maybe the building of the structure was like a kind of maybe even praying in order to achieve this final, very beautiful, very clean, immaculate work of art.
This is the kind of a piece that ends up in museums. This is the kind of piece that gives to one constantly, but in a very, very non-verbal, in that way quiet, in a very feelingful way, so that you live with it and it feels great.
I do think that the work is masterful enough for it to possibly get another look, and I think when it does, its stature will be better recognized.
I feel that good art is relevant not only at the time that it's created, but its relevance goes on. And I truly hope that that would be the case for Ronald Bladen's work, because it deserves that.